Paul Doswell, 1-0 win for the Hawks. It was really a brilliant performance at both ends of the field, really.
Yeah, I thought it's been up there as our best away performance. I mean, we worked really hard on it this week, knowing, what a good football inside Weymouth were, and you look back at the game, and their keepers made 2 fantastic saves from our header, and then from Alfie's shot, and then obviously we get our goal. So that's 3 good chances we created in the first half, and we felt relatively comfortable in terms of what was coming at us. I thought second half it was always going to be that they had to get the goal and we would drop a little bit deeper. But when you really look at it, I'm not convinced about the penalty whatsoever. But what a save again from Warner. I think that's 4 out of 4 in it on penalties. Yeah. And whether it's deserved or not, I think it was 2 good teams out there. And I thought that Weymouth put under a lot of pressure in that last, as they should, as we would if we were at home in the last 15 minutes, 1-0 down. But we limited them to very few chances. I mean, I just asked Ross in there, how many saves he made second half, and apart from the penalty, he said none. So, we had to defend our box again. A lot of crosses coming in. I thought their 11 baggy was outstanding on the day. I mean, he looks levels above Conference South, that's for sure. And I know he has played higher. But if I was a scout watching today, I'd look at him and think, he can do what he wants, that kid. So, to contain him and do what we did was just fantastic.
Game built with 2 attacking stars going head to head. It was only a defender in Simon Walton that gets the winner.
Yeah, and also Simon Walton clears one off the line as well.
Yes.
Another one which he did against Hungerford. So listen, Waltz has come in as our leader, which we felt we were lacking at the back. He's not, by his own admission, the most mobile, but he's a fantastic reader of the game, and young Cookie alongside him as well. The 2 of them have done a real good job the last 2 games, and also it's put pressure now back onto Magries and Robsons and Beckwith, who were pretty much nailed on for a start. So quite brave selection, if I'm being honest, to bring Waltz in, because he was getting more and more, as involved on the coaching side with us and the management side with us. But I thought he was fantastic today, and probably man of the match for the fact of the goal and the one that he's cleared off the line with his head again.
And of course, with the last 10-15 minutes, Weymouth really did push us pound for pound, and the team really did dig in for those 3 points in the end, because Weymouth did come close, as you say, on a couple of occasions towards the death. Yeah,
I think if you see the running stats for today, you'll see that, and this is what we talked about, we wanted everyone in that 10-11k mark. We wanted everyone, because of the way they play, they make the pitch very, very big, they make you run around, and it was important. And I thought we stopped certainly we stopped the left back, who was a real feature for them in the games I've watched. But like I said, a lot of credit to Weymouth. They're a good football inside. They move the ball quickly. They got some real good players in there. Ones that are going to play at a higher level. You've got to remember you're up against 4 Bournemouth, Premier League squad type players, or there's certainly hope to get in that squad. And when you look at how it is here, they've got 5 good players on loan, and they all buy into Weymouth. They buy into the club, and because of that, they can bring in other good players on the back of it. So. When you look at it, I thought we contained them well. We got that clean sheet that we were desperate for. And as I said, I think maybe the Braintree game could be a defining moment, because whilst it was an unstoppable free kick, the 3rd goal, it really annoyed all of us. And, one of the things that we talked about is defending more aggressively and trying to protect our goal. And I think you've seen that in the first 15 minutes against Hungerford, and certainly today.
And of course, you look at, in fact, we've got the clean sheet here, got a big win here against Weymouth, got the win against Hungerford. As you say, following that Braintree game, do you feel the ball's rolling again now with the Hawks?
It's never not been rolling, Henry. We've won 6 and drawn 1 of the last 7. So it's not a question of it's not been rolling. It was a question of I was just getting a bit annoyed about the fact we conceded goals. And of course, earlier in the season, I was getting annoyed that we were creating 15, 20 chances and losing 1-0 or 2-1. So, we know what we're about in the dressing room. We just felt we needed to be a bit more ruthless. It's a word, it's easy to throw in the word ruthless, but we haven't been ruthless at both ends this season. And yet, we've lost 2 games now. I think, is that 20 games we played?
Yes.
42 points
today.
Is it 42?
I think so, yeah, something around that mark.
So we're over that 2 points. Once you get over those 2 points mark, if you're in and around it in 84, maybe getting towards 90, you're going to be really, really close. And I was very, very proud of the team today. Great support as well. I've got to say again, people have got to understand that the amount of analysis, for example, that Scott Munro did for the game and that Jordan does, and going, spending hours clipping stuff and showing the players what they would do and how they would do it. And we knew exactly how Weymouth were going to play, whether they played one system or the other. And as I said, people don't often see the amount of work that goes into that type of away performance. and it gives me a massive thrill. And that's when you know if you still love your football. You know, if you're prepared to put in the hard work. What they say, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And you know, we will certainly work hard at this football club.
And as relentless as this league is, back on it Saturday, Maidstone at home, another very, very tough fixture against a good Maidstone side.
Yeah, and we were, we're fully aware of that's why we, gave. It's very subtle, the changes, but Bailey, rested today, ready for a performance on Saturday. Magri came back in. Benny Reid needed a rest. He was sore in training, had a sore thigh. But then Mags has had this sickness bug and diarrhoea bug that's been going around, and he lasted 65 before he just said he was wasted. So again, Magri's come back in and put in a really good defensive performance, which is what we wanted from him. So big squad needed. We've got 18 fit at the minute, which is brilliant. When you see the likes of Ollie Dennett and Jake Flanagan not in the 16 today, that's massive because it means that you will need to use your squad wisely. Some people will be surprised that we played a Cook in the last 2 games, but he's shown me that everything Jack Pearce said about him, everything my 2 scouts said about him, and that's back to the hard work you do. So pleased for Cookie, but just pleased for everyone. But 22 games to go. After Maidstone, we're halfway through. It's a massive January coming up, and by the end of January, you'll have a real good understanding of where you're going to be.
Paul, thank you, and we'll speak
Henry,
to
I can't go without thanking those Hawks fans.
They were superb today. There
was probably 150 here today, certainly loads up in the main stand as well, and again, that encouragement that they gave us. Again, we like to go over and thank them at the end, win, lose or draw. It's all about, respecting them, but for them to come here, and Hungerford in big numbers. I mean, they spent their money to support us, and I just, I'd like to thank them. Get that same vocal support at home for me behind the goal. It's massive. You don't realise what a difference you make. But yeah, it feels a good Hawks family at the minute.
And definitely considering the amount of racket the Weymouth fans themselves made this afternoon as well. It needed that big support.
We matched them, and probably better than them. I thought the Hawks behind the goal, but also we had a lot of support coming from the main stand as well. You don't underestimate our older supporters that are behind us shouting us on, and like I said, to have 150 odd of your supporters with you willing us on was it's fantastic.
Paul, thank you, and we'll speak to you ahead of Maidstone on Saturday.
Cheers, Henry.